Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm Darin and John here with my co-host John Sable. And today we're going to take a first look at the Thrustmaster T150 wheel and pedal set. And this set is compatible with the PS3, PS4, and PC, and partially compatible with the Thrustmaster ecosystem.
Yes, and when we say partially, we mean that the wheel isn't detachable in the T150, but you can use the T3PA pedals and TH8A shifter along with it.
We're going to do some unboxing. Go ahead, John. And while John's unboxing it, I'm going to give you guys some specs. First spec, a very important one. This thing's going to be priced under $200 and €200, $199, pretty much worldwide. It's going to be available in October. There's also, so we've got the PlayStation. Here, why don't you grab the pedals here and I'll move the box. Oh, there's something else in there too. Power supply. Oh, different power supply than what we're used to seeing. Oh, and the manual. So John can keep going on the unbagging.
That's right.
So there's two versions. There's the PlayStation version or PlayStation branded version and a Ferrari branded version. The Ferrari branded version will only be available in Europe, as well as the PlayStation branded one, and then the PlayStation branded one will be available here in the States. And I'd say we need to get even though it's not available here, we need to get a Ferrari branded one too.
We do. Add to our Ferrari branded collection.
Of everything, yeah. Speaking of which, we got the 599 rim behind us here too. Again, which is not compatible with this. Like the T300, TX, or T500 where you could take the rims off, you will not be able to take the rim off the T150. Speaking of rim, it's an 11-inch rim. It's got 1080 degrees of rotation, and it's got brushed motors with a mixed belt, pulley, and gear transmission system, and a metal ball bearing axle. And again, it's officially licensed for the PS3 and PS4, and like we mentioned, ecosystem compatible. Two pedal set, which feel identical to the TX and T300 stock pedals. You know, one of our complaints has been that the brake's not modded, but you can do that $10 mod that I've come up with, or not that I came up with, but that I reported on. Ashasha from our forums made that mod. But it actually, I gotta pull those other pedals out because it works really well. Interesting placement too. This placement's different.
No, it is.
On the gas and brake. So there's definitely different placement. Looks like the pedal faces are not adjustable. And the other pedal faces on the TX and T300 were metal, where these are plastic. So there's a difference right there. What else do we got here? So we got the PS3, PS4 mode button over here on the right, with the regular mode button for the pedals. And then we got the L3, R3. So why don't you hold that for me here real quick, John?
It's got a little more going on there than a T300.
It sounds like it's a combination mixed belt, pulley, and gear. So you can hear that gear transmission system.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's interesting. It has quite a bit of resistance just off the bat turning it.
Yeah, it does.
So, you know what this reminds me of just right off the bat? Logitech Momo Black.
Yeah.
Which was a wheel and rim that I ran for a number of years. It was my first ever PC wheel and rim combo, or wheel and pedals.
Right.
And it was a 2-pedal set, and yeah, very similar looking, similar price point.
Same as the DFGT, Logitech DFGT.
Yeah.
Very similar to that. I think this is the market that they're trying to fill because the DFGT is no longer available. So it's got a rubber wrap here at where you're at 10 and 2. 10 and 2 and 9 and 3, I would say. This is all plastic. Plastic on the top and bottom. Everything else is plastic. But you know what? This seems like it's going to be a great entry point wheel.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the whole point here. $200 and getting you into sim racing.
I am not seeing hard mount points.
Oh no, they aren't there, are they?
Nope.
Huh. So it looks like you will have to use the mount.
Clamp only. So it looks like they're really, trying to save some bucks here. No hard mount points on the pedals either. We'll get you guys some close-ups here of that. But yeah, no hard mount points on the pedals or wheel. Again, now if you wanted to upgrade, you can get the T3 PA pedals, and you're still going to be right under 300 bucks.
Yes.
So those are totally compatible. I mean, if you wanted to step it up a little bit and get a set of pedals that you could hard mount, I'm sure somebody could sell you their TX or T300 pedals.
I'm sure there's a good amount of those floating around.
Yeah, because people have upgraded. Yeah, very similar in a lot of ways, but you can see where they've saved some money.
Aren't those hard mount?
Oh, hard mount on the, yeah. Oh,
okay.
So never mind on the pedals. The pedals are hard mountable. There's 2 hard mount holes right there. So that's not a problem.
No,
Double check there.
There's nothing here though.
Yeah.
So here you have to use the clamp, which, you know, is pretty sizable.
That clamp's always been pretty decent. I've never really had problems with it, and I don't really use it much because I use the hard mount points, and this clamp looks identical to the T300 TX and T500 clamp. So there's our first impressions. Now we're gonna go hook it up to the GT Ultimate next level chassis and do some talking and driving.
Yep.
Shall we?
We shall.
Let's do it. Okay, so we got it all set up. Pedals hard mounted. And we use that clamp to mount the wheel. And I'd say one of the first cons that we found is that we couldn't hard mount it. That definitely would have made things better, wouldn't you agree, John?
Oh, absolutely.
The clamp is decent, but hard mounting is always the way to go. So kind of a bummer they didn't include hard mount spots. It's definitely like a belt/gear drive mix.
Yeah, no, it feels like the hybrid it is. You can feel the gear cogs there, but they're not super, you know,
chattery.
Yeah, you don't feel them a ton.
So what do you think about the force feedback? You just went over a rumble strip there, and we're F1 2015 PS4. We don't have the PC driver yet, so we're not going to be able to test it on the PC yet. So we're going to try it with the PS4, maybe even boot up the PS3 really quick. Do you think we should just go PS4 for now? What do you think?
Yeah, we can boot up on the PS3 and see how that does.
Or maybe we do a separate piece on the PS3.
Or maybe a separate piece.
Just like we did on the G29. I think that's what we'll do, so we can get this out to you guys. Compatible right out of the box, though. F1 2015. And, you know, we got things dialed in as far as the saturation goes. We didn't do any changes on the wheel as far as the degrees of rotation. But out of the box, man, I think this wheel, for considering the price point that they're going for, I think it feels pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, I am pleasantly surprised just how much force feedback it does have, and overall, like we said, even though you can kind of feel the gears there, it's pretty smooth.
It is, and we've got the wheel weight turned all the way up. I had turned it down a little bit, and you might want to try that too real quick, John, but it freed it up a little bit as far as the gear cogging goes. How about the paddle shifters? Positive click. I mean, I can actually hear me. Let me take my mic and put it over here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the paddle shifters feel very similar to the T300, which is a good thing.
Yeah, they do. They feel pretty much identical to the T300 or TX.
But yeah, and then we have the pedals, which, you know, I mean, the pedals are kind of what the pedals are. You know, they're definitely a bit soft, and you kind of got to readjust yourself to really working on not the brake pressure, but the brake position.
Yeah, so it's like the way I put it with like a load cell, or even like something with a conical brake mod, you use more muscle memory to figure out, you know, how much pressure you're going to apply. Where with these pedals, just like I've talked about with the TX or the T300 pedals, they're identical to those pedals, and it's based on your position. You know, you're not, like you just locked them up right there. You probably wouldn't have locked it up there had you know, had some kind of conical brake mod or something.
Yep.
Now, again, that mod I was talking about that we've done, the Ashasha mod, where you take like carpet, like a furniture carpet or a floor gripper, and one of those little cone pieces of rubber, install them, and for like 10 bucks you got yourself a great brake mod. I think it would work great. And again, you need to try those too, just to see how that feels. Feels similar to the conical brake mod, to be honest. I mean, it definitely can improve your braking, but that's definitely an area that this setup's lacking. Luckily with that mod, with the hard mount points, you could hard mount those pedals and it should work great.
Yeah, it is nice that they still have the hard mounts on the pedals. That is, that's something that is always kind of tough when you don't hard mount pedals. I mean, if you don't, then you have to really go find a wall to stick them against, or...
And even then, they can shift this way.
Exactly.
So yeah, you really need to have something mounted to, something to mount them to get the most out of your braking mainly. Because you know, under a pressure situation, you got to slam on those brakes, and those pedals are going to go all over the place on you. I
will say one thing that was definitely noticeable right off the bat is this wheel has really no force feedback dead zone, which is really surprising. I mean, it's when you start turning from center, I'm seeing it on screen. And you feel bumps right at center. You know, where the G wheels tend to have that force feedback dead zone, because we're assuming because it's a gear driven wheel, where we're not feeling that with this wheel. No, not at all. Yeah, so I'm hearing the force feedback come through, and I drove it right before John did. We'll switch it up here in a minute, and I'll drive some project cars. Yep. But solid force feedback and precise. I mean, it feels like a very precise wheel. Even though it's got the gear drive, I don't feel it. Like John said, it still turns smoothly. What about the grip? The grip, I mean, they feel good. And they got the rubber grips, and I mean, they're kind of T300 base feeling. Yeah, that's funny. You took the words right out of my mouth. I was thinking that you read my mind. I was thinking the grips feel identical to the T300, but they stop at, you know, 10 and 2, and they're down at 9 and 3 as well. So you basically have about this much grip on both sides, but that's pretty much where your hands are going to be anyway. I mean, unless you're going to go... Unless you're in real trouble. Yeah, and then you're going to be feeling plastic, but... I do wonder, I don't know if they're the same diameter. They feel almost a little smaller to me, but I don't know if that's just... I don't know if they are. Same diameter rim as the T300? As far as just the thickness of the rim. Oh. It looks similar. I guess we could, you know, when we do our final review on it, we can check that out. But it looks, to me, it looked and felt similar. I will say we were pleasantly surprised when we first fired this up, because just turning the wheel by itself, it doesn't give you too much confidence. It does make a little bit of a gear noise. Yeah, and we're like, ooh. Yeah, we're kind of like, I don't know about this thing. But, man. Once you start going, and like, we're not hearing that much of it right now. I mean, it's pretty... run over some grass real quick. Run over that grass. We're still hearing it a little bit. But I mean, as one thing that we kind of, you know, said earlier, and we said also with the Logitech wheels, it's rumbling. Well, that's part of the tray. It's rumbling, but it's not rattling too bad. No, yeah, exactly. You're feeling good rumble, but not chatter. Exactly. Some of the chatter you're hearing, we got a remote on the... Yeah. That should tell you how much the forces are, though. I mean, how much force feedback there is, because it's moving stuff on this tray. So, anything else before we switch it up here? Now let's jump into Project Cars and see how it feels. Sounds good. Okay, so we just booted up Project Cars, and default went to 360 degrees of rotation. So we had to use the D-pad button press. So if you push to the left or right and then mode, it'll switch all the way up to 1080. So we did that. Let's calibrate the pedals. So it's being shown as a T300 in the menu, but there may be a patch that needs to come out on Project Cars. Let's just see if it works though. So while we were waiting for Project Cars to load here, this is definitely this is the T300 rim, and it's definitely, yeah, it's thicker. I'd say by, I don't know, quarter to a half an inch as far as the width of the rim. Size-wise, they're identical, but as far as the diameter of the grip, T300 is fatter.
for sure.
How's it feeling?
Good, it's working. I mean, considering we just got the defaults loaded.
Yep, this is with 0 tuning.
I like the time of day we've got.
Yeah. It's purdy.
It's almost the same time of day we got here in real life. This is California coast. Anyway, let's talk about the wheel. Yeah, out of the gate, you know, I could tell I could use some more force feedback.
Is it less than F1 2015?
Yes. But, I mean, I feel like I got good control of the car. I'm feeling the bumps and stuff.
Yeah, it looks like the at least the on-screen hands are following your real hands.
Kind of did that on purpose. I wanted to feel how it felt against the guardrail.
Doing what it should do?
Yeah. Beating the crap out of my car here, but
Yeah. Any dead zones?
maybe a little bit, but that could be again how we have it set up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing the right front tire turn with your wheel, I think.
Yeah, I'm not feeling any controller dead zone. Yeah, I think we need to make some, you know, there's so many friggin' sliders to adjust in Project Cars.
Oh yeah, way too many.
But I think just out of the box, I think it feels good. I can feel like the bumps as I'm going over some of those crests. The wheel gets a little light. I'm feeling bumps in the road. Let's go off-road here. Yeah, I'm feeling good rumble. You can see it moving a little bit too in the...
Yeah, not really hearing it when you're going off-road, so that's good.
Yeah, by the way, we're not trying to set the world on fire here with this, with our lap times. We're just, this is the first time we tried it with Project Cars. No adjustments except for calibration. So see, it just dead center. It's not really doing it. Actually, there's a little bit of movement there, I just felt. Yeah, there was a little bit. You can feel forces though, right when you start to turn. And I don't feel like there's a force feedback dead zone. Felt it get light there. That was kind of cool. I'm surprised this car's still drivable.
Yeah. And one thing I wonder, you know, especially just coming from the Logitech G920 review, driving that wheel a lot, is definitely got a lot more on-center dead zone in Project Cars than I did in F1 2015. So I wonder if we're feeling maybe a little bit of that. Because F1 2015, there was like no dead zone.
And I'm wondering, you know, again, there's so many things you can adjust in this title. You know, it's like, are we not, is there something not adjusted to let's see if we can.
And also, to be fair, this wheel isn't fully supported yet. It did get recognized as a T300.
So yeah, there's so many things we could be adjusting here. Spindle, body, and SOP. So I just turned up the master scale. Let's see. Oh yeah, the force is definitely stronger.
Are you getting any wheel chatter?
No.
Well, that's good to hear, because a lot of times when you turn up that master scale on a gear-driven wheel, you'll start to get a lot of chatter.
So yeah, overall this thing feels pretty good. Again, you know, just out of the box without any adjustments. You know, I can tell what the car's doing. I can tell I would like to adjust it to get some more out of it, but I think it feels pretty damn good. Shall we try Driveclub?
Let's.
Have you ever tried Driveclub?
Nope.
Then it's all you. Let's switch back and get you in Driveclub. And then wrap this thing up. All right, so John's getting set up on Driveclub for his first time. And I think we already mentioned it, but this wheel is totally compatible on the PS4. So the PS button works. It works in all the menus, both in-game and out-of-game. So you don't need to hook up a controller to navigate. You can just hook up the wheel and do all your navigation from there. So Driveclub was compatible with 1080 degrees of rotation, and we got it set at 1080. And John's going to see what Driveclub's all about.
Mm-hmm.
I hear it.
It's working. This is
sloppy.
Yeah, I'm not getting a lot of. It's got a bit of a dead zone. I wonder if I should adjust the degrees of rotation down.
Well, we can. We're all the way maxed at 1080, so we can.
Let's give that a try. And you want to talk about how this works?
I don't know if now. Yeah, we did it before, but he can go left to right and hit the mode button at the same time. But I don't know if it's. Did you try it?
Yeah, and now it's.
Feeling better?
Yeah, now it's probably too quick because now I think I'm down at 270. So we do it again.
1, 2. So you should be about 360 now.
That doesn't feel bad.
Now, what if we need to adjust it in game? If it's working, we don't need to.
I will say the force feedback definitely isn't as strong as I was feeling in F1 2015, but I don't know. You'll have to let me know if that's more of the game.
It's more of the game. It was decent. Mm-hmm. Even with like a T300, which is what I think that's the only thing I tested it with initially. I think I might have tested it with the G29 too, but no, it's not known for having the best force feedback. It's definitely more arcade style racer. But I always thought it was decent.
Yeah, that's probably how I would explain it. But you know, now since I made that adjustment, well, it feels pretty good. Getting a little bit of rattle, but nothing too severe.
Yeah, no clackety clack though. It's
right.
More of a force feedback rumble.
Yep. So I'm getting my off-road rumble right here.
Taking down some metal posts.
That's right.
Doing some damage to your Ferrari. Go fast and take it into the wall up there, see how it feels.
No, I mean it.
Right, do it one more time and let go of the wheel so we can see how the wheel.
Yeah, we'll get plenty of speed.
Yeah, let's get this thing hauling ass. 125. Here we go. That didn't move much.
No, not too much.
So there you have it. We tried it with F1 2015, Project Cars, and Driveclub. I guess we could have tried the Crew too. I had the Crew loaded, but tried it with Arcade, Simcade, more on the Sim side with Project Cars, and same with F1 2015. And I have to say, this is a great entry-level package.
It is. I mean, there hasn't been anything at this price point in a long time.
Yep.
So having something at $200 and performing as well as it has in this little time we've played with it,
it's impressive.
Pretty impressive.
It is. So we're going to do another quick piece on the PS3, show some compatibility with that. We'll try it with Gran Turismo 6 and Dirt 3, most likely. And definitely going to check it out on the PC as soon as we get the driver for that. And then maybe when we're doing the PC like we did with the G29, we'll do our final review on it. Mm-hmm. But quite a little package for $200 from Thrustmaster. And you know, the other thing is too, it's compatible with the TH8A shifter.
Yes.
So if you're curious, it is. It's compatible with the T3PA pedals as well, and the Pro pedals, or the T500 pedals, or the TX or T300 pedals, which are identical to those. What, you wouldn't need those unless you wanted the metal faces. But final thoughts for you, John, before we go?
No, I mean, I'm just pleasantly surprised and impressed. I mean, it's like I said, you know, when you hear gear driven and you see the price point and you kind of worry what exactly it could be, but no, in the short time, it performed really well.
Yeah, I think what really tipped me off and gave me high hopes was the 1080 degrees of rotation. You know, because they've come out with a few wheels before the T500, the F430 wheel, and the RGT that felt pretty good, but only had 270 degrees of rotation. So it was lacking there, and they didn't have nicer pedals that you could adapt to it. But when I saw that this was 1080 degrees, and then compatible with the pedals and the shifter and all that, I was like, man, this is a game changer for the entry level. You know, if you're curious about going from the gamepad to a wheel and you didn't want to spend a bunch of money, this is going to be the perfect entry level point for you guys. And even somebody that just maybe wants to have an extra wheel sitting in their closet as a backup.
Sure.
I mean, and if you have all the other Thrustmaster pieces, this could be a good backup wheel for you too. Or a second wheel for your kids.
That's
so
right.
Two setups.
For the kids, this is perfect.
It is. So I think it's going to wrap things up. For John Sable, I'm Darin Ganji. Hopefully you've enjoyed this first look at the Thrustmaster T150 wheel and pedal set for the PS3, PS4, and PC. Again, it's going to be available very soon here coming up in October. €199, $199 US. Great bargain.
Yes, it is.
We'll see you guys next time.